Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Action Sack gameplay. This is the new playlist that's been featured for this week of Halo 5. I do really enjoy what they're doing at the moment in terms of making sure they put out a playlist each week, week in, week out. It makes it a more enjoyable experience. It gives you something to look forward to, and it gives you something you can kind of rely upon. In Halo 4, they had the bi-weekly playlists, I believe it was, and the thing is, they only lasted for a weekend as well, whereas these ones go throughout the entire week. So no matter what, you have something new to play for an entire week. It just kind of depends on whether or not you like it, but there's not much to complain about in that respect, and they've actually done a pretty good job of picking the playlists. I'm not sure if this is down to Unyshek, because Unyshek is community leader, or community, what's the word for it, spokesperson, you know, the sort of job that BS Angel was in. And it kind of seems like the person who's picking them is fairly involved with the community, the way in which they, you know, sorted out the infection settings, the way in which they've sorted out doubles. They've actually done quite a good job on a lot of those playlists, so I have to commend 343 in that respect. And Action Sack, to be fair, is no different in that respect. I did play a lot of Halo 4 Action Sack, and I had quite a few disappointments, you know, quite a few grudges against it, I suppose, in terms of some of its playlist selections not being that interesting or not being that community based. For me, Halo 3 was the benchmark of Action Sack. It's the pinnacle of Action Sack in terms of what they picked, in terms of how often they updated the playlist. They actually had some really interesting picks for it. For example, where they had that playlist where you had to kind of hide underneath cover and someone was above with the sniper rifle aiming down. It was a little bit like Duck Hunt. But they had a lot of great infusions into that playlist, and it was something that was really, really fun and chill to play. And, you know, it was a nice break from the Halo 3 competitive settings, or even the social settings if you weren't even in the mood for that. And this Action Sack, they actually picked quite a few creative game types, in my opinion. They brought back Sumo. Sumo, one of the old classic favorites. That was something you could play on Halo Reach, Halo 3, etc. It was just an enjoyable playlist where you just kind of ram people off. But the way they've done it is it's got these 5 squares, and every single 20 seconds, one of the squares disappears, so the sumo ring becomes smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter. So that's just like a little entertaining thing. They have Mantis, it's called the Minotaur Maze or something like that, which I actually find really interesting. That was a custom game that I had played before, but the map that they've selected for it is really, really interesting. It has all these sliding walls, it has destructible walls, and it does a fantastic job of utilizing Halo 5's Forge to its utmost, which is definitely one of my biggest grudges against Halo 5, is when they don't use the Forge to its fullest potential. I've complained about it enough for this channel, but you know, it is my favourite Forge of the series thus far, and they really haven't done much to push the boat there, which is a real shame. But you know, this playlist is one of the first I've played. Another good example of that is the new paintball playlist. Now, I'm not the biggest, you know, indulger of paintball. I kind of despise it. I hate low health kill times. I don't really find them that fun or that casual. People kind of play more defensive, and it kind of goes against the point of Action Sack. But a lot of people enjoy it, so I'm not going to hate on it too much, because I understand its place there. If people enjoy it and they enjoy chilling out on that, that's fair enough. You gotta, you know, supply and demand type thing. And the map they've selected for it is actually pretty darn beautiful. It has once again a really good use of Forge's palette and its scenery, and it looks like its own fully fledged map, so kudos to picking that map. And then they've got stuff like Mantis Breakout. You know, I hate A, Mantises, and I hate B, Breakout, so I'm not going to say that's one of their finest selections there, but again, you know, it's relatively interesting, and there's a real amount of variety there. You know, you've got your Husky Raid in this, you've got this ground pound thing, which is basically, you know, you're meant to be able to lift up and then ground pound people, but the problem is they spawn you in with a beam rifle, and you get the same amount of points for killing with a beam rifle as a ground pound. So that was a little bit of an error on their part. I think they even tweeted, or they might have said on the subreddit, that it was an error on their part, but nonetheless, it's still like actually kind of a chill, fun little thing to do. You just kind of run around in a massive FFA, and you lift up places, and the gravity's pretty low, and you just snipe people, which, you know, could be worse, could be a lot worse. And again, you know, I always complain about the fact that Halo 5 doesn't have the best selection of chill options of like, oh, am I going to have to come on today and get wrecked even though I've just finished work, or even if I'm in a stressed mood, sorry. You know, Halo 3 was actually a game that I much preferred to play whilst chill than I did whilst stressed, even though it had a fantastic... when I wanted to chill rather than when I wanted to get stressed. You know, sometimes you want to get stressed, sometimes you want to put that pressure upon yourself and be like, right, I want to, you know, take it to the limit. I'm feeling on today. I've just had a Red Bull. I've just had some caffeine. All my friends are on. I'm ready to go. But sometimes you're not. And they need to have the options there for it. And that's why I think this Action Sack playlist has been a great selection of playlists. And I'm really hoping that it's going to be a permanent addition to the playlist roundup. Because... and another thing I want to bring up, I'm not entirely sure whether or not the playlist is ranked as of just yet. Kind of hoping it isn't. That was one of the bugbears I had with Halo 4. Halo 4's was ranked, and as a result, if you got above, like, I'd say 40, that's when you started getting try-hard Action Sack, which is literally the exact opposite. And, you know, you had people pining for a 50 in that playlist, and once you got higher, you kind of really didn't want to be in that position unless you were going for the 50 yourself, because, you know, you were playing people who were try-harding in, I'm trying to remember the name of the playlist. It's called, like... It was like binaries and light rifles or something like that. Lightning Flag, here we go. It's Lightning Flag, where you like got one hit killed. And you can manipulate the spawns on Haven to the point that you could literally spawn camp them to death. And it was a rather dismal experience, in my personal opinion, nonetheless. And Halo 4, just in general, I think their playlist selection was significantly worse than Halo 5's. I think they kind of lost the idea of, you know, this is meant to be a chill, fun playlist. They had, like, Binary Rifle Slayer, which I wouldn't say is the most, like, random, you know, chilled playlist to play. It was people try-harding with a binary rifle, sometimes even on small levels. So, yeah, I do have to commend 343. I definitely recommend giving this playlist a go. Again, hoping that this isn't ranked and hoping that this playlist sticks around because it's actually a pretty darn good time and I think it's definitely worth checking out. Nonetheless, I have been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this commentary. Cheers for watching. Peace out.